Alrighty, hello YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cryptic Coil, and in today's video, um, in case you haven't heard, I might be the one bearing some sad news to you. Within this community, we've recently suffered a loss. We've lost a talent that kind of brings us all together, and somebody that's created content that has helped bring this community together. And that content creator was an author by the name of Diane Hoh. I had seen on Instagram today that she passed away, and so I'm just making a video to say rest in peace and to assist in helping her legacy live on. Now, I'm not gonna lie, okay? I've never read a Diane Hoh book before, ever. But ever since I started this channel and I started recollecting books that were sold at the Scholastic Book Fair back in my day, books that I had, books that I remember but didn't have, that I wish I had had, Diane Hoh has been part of this journey. I've had a great time collecting her works. And for anybody who doesn't know, and if you watch my channel, you know, but there's always the possibility that somebody who's brand new to our community could stumble upon one of my videos, and I hope that this book, or I hope that this video can help. So there's a publishing company named Point, and they're affiliated with Scholastic. So if you see that little logo down here, and if you see that little blood splatter on the spine, Point and Scholastic are affiliated as publishers, and Point started a Point horror series over in the UK. In the US, it was marketed as the Point Thriller series. But those of us who are, immersed in the community, we just call these books point horrors. And Diane Hoh was a very prevalent point horror author. She had books including The Train, and a lot of people are infatuated with this cover. She had another book called The Fever, and this one is more of a, medical thriller slash horror book. I haven't read it, but I'm honored and proud to have it in my collection. And this one looks really fun. It's called Funhouse. I mean, it's in the title, but I mean, ignore the name. Ignore the name. Just look at that cover. Tell me that doesn't look fun. Okay, judging the book by its cover, this book was appropriately titled. Okay. And then this one also looks really good. This one looks super appealing. This is The Invitation by Diane Hoh. Okay. That just looks really appealing. She has other books in the Point Horror series like The Accident. Okay, and that looks pretty compelling. I mean, that looks like a 1980s thrasher or slasher. Thrasher. But this one looks like super good too. It's definitely got some Friday the 13th vibes on the cover. And then I believe I have all the Diane Hoh point horrors. Please let me know in the comment section if I'm missing one. Besides the Nightmare Hall series, which I'll get into in a second. She also has this one called Prom Date, and this one looks good too. When I first started this journey a few years ago in the aftermath of the Fear Street trilogy being released on Netflix, and I discovered Cameron Chaney's channel, and I just binge watched a bunch of his videos. I started hitting up the thrift stores and the yard sales, and I tried recollecting all these books that I used to see on the shelf at the Scholastic Book Fair when I was a kid. Back then, I was mainly into R.L. Stine and Christopher Pike. I didn't really dabble too far outside of the community. I did get into Spine Tinglers by M.T. Coffin. That was just a freak incident in my life. I'd bought The Dead Kid Did It from a book fair, I think, or something. I somehow obtained it in like third grade. I read it in fourth grade, absolutely loved it. But I just missed the boat on Diane Hoh until recent years, all because Netflix dropped the Fear Street trilogy. And that's what sent me down this rabbit hole. And now, like, my book collection is one of the things I take the most pride in my life. You might think that's sad and pathetic. I think it's cool, okay? It's a hobby. And Diane Hoh, who we just lost, has been a part of that, even though I haven't read any of her works. It's been an honor and a pleasure to hunt and acquire all of her works that I have. In addition to these standalone point horror books, she also had her own series in the point horror line, and the series is called the Nightmare Hall series. Now, there are 29 books in this series, and I only have 4. I have found all 4 of these books out in the wild, so out at thrift stores. I would love to collect them all. I'd love to have them all, and I'd love to have backup copies, like, beat up copies that I can read, and then, more mint condition copies for collecting purposes. But for now, I only have these 4. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to go out and hunt for all these books. Then, in addition to having those standalone point horror books, and in addition to having the 29 Nightmare Hall series books, she's also written a few short stories. So within the point horror series, there's this anthology called 13 Tales of Horror by 13 Masters of Horror. Among them are notable authors like Christopher Pike, R.L. Stine, Caroline B. Cooney, and Diane Hoh. Diane Hoh has a short story in this book. Let's see, what's it called? Dedicated to the One I Love. Okay, so you can find that short story here in 13, edited by T. Pines. I'll just show you on the camera. Okay. And then she has one more short story that I'm aware of in the very rare point horror anthology, The Cat Dogs and Other Tales of Horror, edited by A. Finnis. All right, so she has a short story in here. I believe it was called The Piano. Let's see if I remember correctly. Where is the table of contents page? Oh, there it is. There it is. Yes. She has a short story called The Piano. It is a 30-page story. Okay, and you can find that here in The Cat Dogs. So, this community has really been blessed by the content creators that have given us all this mutual thing that we enjoy so much in middle grade and young adult horror. It's been maybe about a decade, maybe about 10 years, that we lost the queen herself, the queen of Scream, Lois Duncan. I think that Diane Hoh is one of those authors. I think that she's one of the women in our scene, in our community, who also deserves to wear a crown and hold the title of queen. I think that Lois Duncan rightfully deserved the title, the Queen of Scream, but I think that some other women who've helped bring all of us together deserve to wear their own crown and hold the title of queen themselves, and I think that Diane Hoh is one of them. So we lost a beloved queen of Scream today, and I would just like to say rest in peace to her. Shout out to her family. It's never easy to lose a loved one, and even if you're not like related to somebody, or you don't have a personal enough relationship with somebody to where you can call them a loved one, if they had some kind of impact or some kind of influence in your life, it's hard. It's really amazing how, somebody you've never met can, have an impact on your life or an influence on you. And if something ever happens to them, how it can hurt you. Now, I don't exactly have that with Diane Ho because I've never read any of her work. I've only collected it. I've totally intended to get around to reading it. I really have, and I'm going to. The next book that I read, I'm in the middle of a book right now, but as soon as I'm done with it, I am going to read a Diane Ho book. Okay, and it has to be one of her standalone point horrors. Okay, so the books that I have are The Train, The Fever, Funhouse, The Invitation, The Accidents, and Prom Date. And I'm willing to take recommendations and suggestions in the comment section below. So if there's one that you really think that I should read, please give me your pitch in the comment section below. I'm going to make this right. I honestly wish that I had indulged her work before she passed, but I started this hobby in my 30s, and I just don't have the kind of time for these things that I had in my teens and 20s. And my 30s are almost over. Like, I'm about to be 40 here in a couple of months. But I need to start getting better about, making time to read, because that's something that I've loved to do throughout my life. And I would say I let that get away from me in my mid 30s. And it was a horrible time to let that get away from me, because I started this channel and I started buying all these books that I haven't been reading. I mean, the number of books that I've read in the last like 7 years can be counted on my fingers. I mean, that is sad and pathetic and downright tragic. But anyway, I don't want this video to go on too much longer. I think I've said what I needed to say. In case you haven't heard, we lost one of the queens of Scream. I just want to say rest in peace, and shout out to her family and the rest of her fans. And just for anybody who's new to this community, maybe you don't own any of these books. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and show you the covers once again, read the tagline on the front and the synopsis on the back, just in case. Okay, so here's the cover of Funhouse. So you get a carnival theme on the cover. The tagline on the front reads, "You can die laughing." And the synopsis on the back reads, "You'll have to be punished for that, Tess," the voice said. When the Devil's Elbow roller coaster goes off its track and several teenagers are hurt, everyone thinks it was just an accident. So no one listens when Tess says she saw someone tampering with the track. But one person knows it's true. That person is playing a deadly game and is going to make sure Tess doesn't stand in the way. Tess soon finds she's being terrorized with threatening notes, menacing phone calls, slashed tires, and nasty pranks. When another accident occurs in the funhouse, Tess is sure that she was the intended victim. Who is committing all these horrifying acts, and why? Tess is just beginning to realize that the funhouse can scare you to death. Okay, and then one more thing. Let's go ahead and check out what year this was published. So this book was published in 1990. So if you're watching this video today, then it's a 25-year-old book because it's 35-year-old book. Yeah, so 1990 was 35 years ago. I wasn't even in kindergarten yet when that book came out. All right. I didn't originally plan on doing this. The rest of them I have in protective sleeves, And I have backup copies that are not in protective sleeves on the bookshelf right here. So after I'm done with this one, I'm going to get up for a sec, walk away from the camera. I'll just be a couple of seconds, less than a minute, and I'll grab the others. So this one is called The Invitation. And this has a really compelling looking cover. There's an envelope with an RSV invitation card coming out of the envelope, and it says RSVP or die. And I'm not sure if that's blood or if that's wax, because sometimes these things get sealed with wax. But either way, very cool looking, very compelling looking cover. And the tagline on the front reads, "A party like no other." And here's the synopsis on back: An invitation to death. It arrives on crisp ivory paper, printed with elegant gold script. Sarah has been invited to the social event of the year, Cass Rockham's annual fall party. But Sarah knows she isn't popular or rich enough to be in Cass's circle. To Cass, she's a nobody, a loser. So why was she invited? Sarah hopes this will be a night she'll never forget, and it is, for unspeakable reasons. So there's actually a vampire movie that came out called The Invitation. It was on Netflix for a while. I think it just got removed from Netflix this year, but this sounds a lot like that movie. All right, give me just a sec. I'm gonna jump up and grab those other books, so just give me a couple seconds, all right? All right, and I'm back. Thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for your patience. Sorry about that. All right, so I actually only have two backup copies. So I have a backup copy of the of Prom Date and The Accident, but I don't have a backup copy of The Train, nor do I have a backup copy of The Fever. Wait, did I just acquire a backup copy of The Fever recently? Anyway, I'm not going to stop and get up and look for it, so I'm just going to keep the show going on. All right, so here's the cover of The Accident, and the tagline on the front reads, "She has returned from the dead." And here's the synopsis on the back. All she wanted was 1 week of Megan's life. She appears in Megan's mirror one day, nothing more than a wispy, shadowy plume, glowing with an eerie light. Her voice is faint and hollow, like a distant echo, the voice of a young girl. Strangest of all is her request. I beg you to trade places with me, Megan, for just 1 week. Let me live again. Megan is overcome with fear, yet she is drawn to the shadow in the mirror. Unable to look away, fascinated by the oddly soothing voice, she listens to a tale of a horrible accident many years before, a tale she would never forget. Gradually, Megan begins to realize that she has no choice. As terrified as she is, she knows she must make the trade. That actually sounds a little similar to Lois Duncan's book, A Stranger with My Face. So and I read that book. I really enjoyed that book. So I think this is the one I might read next, because now that poor Diane Hoh has passed away, I need to read a Diane Hoh book. And this one right here seems like it might be it. All right. And this book was first printed in April of 1991. So I was in kindergarten at that point. No, I wasn't. I didn't start till like August. I wasn't even in kindergarten yet. Wow. All right. So three down, three to go. All right, so here is my backup copy of Prom Date. This is the first book in my Diane Hoh collection. I found it at the thrift store that is closest to my apartment a few years ago when I began this journey and started this channel. Let's see. So here's the cover, and it's just, a couple dancing together at the prom. And I mean, this girl, man, like her face, like, I mean, she's, a lovely young lady, but there's just something really weird about her lips. I don't know if she overdid the lipstick and made it like clown makeup, like the Joker, or if they're like her lips are stained with blood. I don't know what's going on there, but it just looks awkward. But the tagline on the front reads, "She'd kill for a date." And the synopsis on the back reads, "A night they'll never forget. It's time for the biggest event of the year at Toomey High, prom night. But there's someone in Toomey who will do... There's someone in Toomey, or Toomey. I'm going to say Toomey, okay? It's time for the biggest event of the year at Toomey High, prom night. But there's someone in Toomey who will do anything for a date to the prom. This year, questions like, what are you wearing and who will be crowned queen have become insignificant. Taffeta and tiaras, kings and queens, have been replaced by mayhem and murder. It could be anyone, even one of the pops, the most popular girls in school. The question on everyone's mind is, who's next on the killer's list?" Huh, I guess they call the popular kids the pops, huh? And this book was published in 1996. I didn't go to prom, so I don't have any like fondness or any nostalgia for prom, I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds like there's a mystery here. I think I'm leaning more towards the accident than I am towards prom date. All right. Now you're going to have to bear with me for a sec while I open the... I have to remove the tape to remove the book from the protective sleeve so I can see what year the Fever was published. All right. So once again, here's the cover of The Fever. I mean, that's a pretty creepy looking cover. The tagline on the front reads, "When you play with fever, you might get burned." Well, I got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell. All right. Here's the synopsis on the back. Feed a cold, kill a fever. A mysterious fever rages through Duffy's body, robbing her of her strength and leaving her helpless in her hospital bed. In the middle of the night, she is awakened by terrifying sounds and a voice that cries out, "No, please, don't." Is it a delirious dream, or is she the only witness to a vicious crime? As the days pass, Duffy tries desperately to figure out what really happened that night. Her temperature climbs higher and higher, and she fears she's losing her mind. And someone wants to make sure that she does. After all, fever can be deadly. I know that Diane Hoh has written a medical thriller series. I think it was called Med Center or something. I've seen them on the bookshelves like at thrift stores before. but and I recognized the name. Oh, that's Diane Hoh, but it wasn't horror, so I didn't buy them. I, I'm content with that, but there is a part of me that wishes I had now. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that. Oh, and then Fever. This book is from the year 1992. All right. So, I have one more for you. The Train. My apologies. Okay. So, The Train. And here's the cover once again. I mean, that's a pretty cool looking cover. All right. The tagline on the front reads A One-Way Ticket to Terror. And the synopsis on the back reads Death Train. Go back, go back, go back. The steady sound of the train rushing over the tracks warns Hannah. She and her friends are on a trip that begins as a fun cross country tour until they learn what's on the train with them a coffin. Frog's coffin. His real name was Roger, but from the day he started at Parker High to the day of his sudden and horrible death, he was taunted and ridiculed, cruelly nicknamed Frog by his classmates. One by one, Hannah's friends guiltily confess the nasty things they did to Frog, and then, one by one, they are viciously attacked. It seems Frog is out for revenge, but Frog's dead, isn't he? Ooh, that one sounds good. That's very similar to that horror movie, I Spit on Your Grave. I mean, it's revenge prawn, pretty much. I mean, it's a story that's been told before, but man, it it's a good one. Okay, I haven't read this book, but I'm this one sounds like a contender, except I can't read this one because it's my only copy and it's in mint condition, and I don't want to read it because I'll reduce the mint condition of the book. So I'm going to have to find a beat up reading copy. I think I'm going to stick to The Accident as my first Diane Hoh book, but if somebody has another suggestion, let me know. Okay, I can't do The Train just yet, though. All right, well, I guess that's it. I guess I'll let you guys go, but thank you for watching. Rest in peace to Diane Hoh. Rest in peace, Queen. And, shout out to her family, friends, and loved ones. All right, thank you guys for watching. Horns up. Peace out.